All right, guys, today we're going to do the clutch lever on the 2015 KX450F. We're going to be installing the ARC clutch perch. This is a DC8 composite lever perch. Super good. This is basically what all the pros run. And I'm going to show you how to do it on this. We're going to take the stock lever off, new aftermarket lever on. First, what we're going to do is we're going to start with this piece. This is a stock adjuster. So you're just going to push that piece of rubber out of the way. And then here's your stock adjuster. And then there's another piece of rubber. These things just keep the dirt out of the perch, keep it nice and freed up. So you kind of just got to get those things out of the way. And then in the cable, you want to adjust it out. All right, if you notice on the adjuster here, there's an open spot here, and then on the actual adjuster piece that spins, there's another open spot. So you basically need to get the cable wire in that little spot, but you want to adjust it all the way in as far as you can. So you're able to get see how I just loosened that all the way up? And now I'm basically just able to pull the cable out of there. So it's pretty simple. Let's take the cable out. We're not going to use any of this stuff anymore, the stock stuff, so we're just going to go ahead and take the little plastic pieces off. The new clutch stuff comes with all that. So basically we don't need this. You want to save it for later on. Take our Phillips head screwdriver and go ahead and just take the stock perch off. All right, so after we get the stock perch off, again, you can go ahead and put all your little plastic pieces back on the perch if you want to save them for later. Just keep everything together. So here's our stock lever. Good part, it works. And again, we're going to replace it with the ARC composite DC8 clutch lever. So one thing I will say on the bars here, if you look, you see your kill switch and your map switch. Sometimes you have to move this stuff around a little bit in order for the new perch to go ahead and fit on, because sometimes the new perch is a lot fatter. So you just want to make sure you have enough room in between your kill switch and your map switch in order for the new clutch perch to fit inside. So the way I do this is I go ahead and take, this is the adjuster. So the adjuster is a couple different pieces. It's a rubber piece that keeps it from getting dirt inside of it. And then, so here's your rubber piece. It keeps getting dirt inside of it. Here's your actual adjuster. Remember I told you there's the two lines that let you put the cable in right here. Also, if you look closely, there's two little set screws on this cable adjuster. And what those set screws are for is when it goes in here, there's actually little indentions around the clutch perch. So it basically makes it feel like it's clicking. Click, 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 and it holds itself. And you can put more tension or less tension on the click of it as it goes around. So it's basically a little ball and spring in there that keeps it from like click, 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 click. It keeps it from spinning around freely as it will. So I'm going to adjust that all the way down to where I can see my two little lines right there. Go ahead and take that out. If you see, there's another little cover here. So in order to make it seamless and easy, I'm going to go ahead and take this little cover off. Just a little nut right there. And now we're ready to go ahead and mount our perch. Go ahead and take my 8mm T-handle, loosen the bolts on the perch. And then you basically just go ahead and slide that puppy on there. A good rule of thumb whenever you're putting a perch on handlebars is to always go ahead and just tighten the top one tight first. And and then you go ahead and tighten the bottom one. And the reason that is because as it clamps over on the top, the bottom actually pulls it together and gets it to not spin on the handlebars. A lot of professional riders and people, they'll actually leave it loose a little bit, loose enough to where if they needed to move it up or down that they could. If you have it super tight and you're in a race and you fall over and it's bent down and you can't physically pick it back up because it's too tight on the handlebars, well basically you're a DNF because you can't twist your perch a little bit. So it's rider preference, it's rider call, whatever they feel like to do. You know, and just make sure that your fingers feel good on there. Go ahead and tighten it up, and you can see if I put a lot of pressure on it, you can't move it. So that's the way this rider likes it. But again, you can always do that. Just make sure it ain't gonna move on you up and down. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put the cable through the adjuster. So here's our stock clutch cable. Just gonna put a little dust cover on. Sometimes they're a little tight fit. Stick them down through the cable and just kind of muscle it on there. And then go ahead and install the cable. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick our cable adjuster inside the Perch. If you see the cable adjuster, there's a slot here. And that only goes in one way, so you know, just be careful. Pay attention to what you're doing. You know, you're never in a rush. So go ahead and slide that in there. You'll feel it click in. And then you'll go ahead and see, make sure you got your line all the way so that your cable can fit in there. You go ahead and stick your cable through the Perch. And then, as you can see, I'm not quite out. So there's two things you can do. You can either adjust the cable tension here and loosen the cable up to where you have more free play in it, or I have a little trick where if you hold the cable pretty tight and then just let the lever snap like that, it can go in. I'll show you that one more time. So basically I hold the lever tight, I hold the cable tight, I pull the lever and just let it snap, and it usually lets you go in. So you can see as we put our new lever on, we have a lot of free play. You really only need about 1/4 inch of free play, so you have one of two options. You can either adjust it with the cable adjuster on the bar. They call this one a rider adjustment because the rider's able to do it. So the one the mechanic does is usually right here, and that's in the cable. If you want to look, if you can see this one right here, I'll pull it out for you. It's just a little cable adjuster. So that's where I'm going to make my adjustment, and then I'm going to let the rider have as much play on his adjustment as he can, so that he can make it comfortable to him when it comes time to do that. Go ahead and slide your dust cover back over. Go ahead and lock it on. That keeps dirt out of everything, so the rider has a nice big, you know, adjustment he can basically do on the fly to get his clutch where he wants it to go. So we're going to go ahead and adjust the cable right here. You're going to need two 8mm wrenches. So as you can see, we got our clutch lever on, we got our dust cover on. It's working properly, but we got a lot of play in our clutch lever. Should be only about 1/4 inch of play. The tighter the play is, the more you're prone to wear out your clutches. The looser it is, you're more prone to your clutch not to operate smoothly when it gets hot. The reason there's play in a clutch lever, every clutch lever should have play in it in a motorcycle ATV. The reason why is because the clutch actually expands and moves when it's hot and cold. Then that little much of play makes up for that expansion when it is hot or cold. So the way I'm going to adjust this one is I'm just going to loosen this little lock screw on the cable, and then I'm just going to loosen this up, or tighten it up actually, until I get the desired play I want. Okay, that's a good amount of play for me, so I like that. If I need to adjust it just a little more, I can just go ahead and use my rider adjustment to get it absolutely perfect. If you ever watch the line on a Supercross, they're usually, all the riders are always doing this, adjusting their clutch so they can get the perfect launch out of the hole for the hole shot. Again, just like on the brake side, this lever bends. And so if you ever fall or break, chances are you're not going to break your levers, still be able to ride. And again, too, if you look here, here's your adjustment. What this does is it just pushes the lever in and out. So if you got little fingers, you can make it do what you want to do. If you got long fingers, you can push it out. It's just a rider comfort level, what they like to do. So I usually just set it where it comes when you buy the lever for the rider. When they come in to pick up the motorcycle, I'll adjust it for them to whatever they like to do. So that's the install of our arc levers on a 2015 KX450F. Again, I'm Tony from Powersports at Palm Beach. You can always check us out on the web at 561 Powersports. You can like us on Facebook /PowersportsPB, Google+, Twitter, Instagram. We'd love to meet you and earn your business. So call, click, come in today. Thanks again.